It has been quite a little while since I've tried a powerful Windows laptop and one that's ultra portable, so today I decided to spend a little bit more money. So I went to Best Buy's website and I found the Razer Blade Stealth. So let's open it up and see what it's like. Now, just in case I do not decide to keep this, because I'm not sure about it, I actually bought it from Best Buy using their Geek Squad certified open box, meaning this is something someone has already owned and tested, but it has been restored, it's been refreshed, it's been certified by Best Buy, and if it's not perfect, I can just take it back. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and open this up. Inside of the box, it actually says down here, "Welcome to the cult of Razer." Now, there's a little box down here at the bottom that has inside of it what appears to be the power brick with a USB Type-C connector on one end and wall outlet power on the other end. And then a smaller box contained within the box. And inside of this box should be the laptop. And there we have it. Now again, as I mentioned, this is open box. This is not brand new. This is something someone purchased, tested, and then took back to Best Buy for whatever reason. So I'm not exactly going into this expecting it to be perfect, brand new, but this is the first time I've gotten hands-on with Razer hardware, aside from just like CES where you can't really touch things and hold things for, yeah. So just initial impressions upon holding it in the hand. The form factor is very nice. Solid. The screen feels like it's got a little bit of give to it. Not a big deal though. Over here on the side, there's a 3.5mm headphone jack, USB port, as well as USB Type-C port. On the other side, full-size HDMI, as well as another USB port. Both USB 3 ports. Nothing on the back, nothing on the front, and it is a super slim, ultra thin, ultra small laptop. And presumably the last thing in the packaging here, this should be all the product documentation. It says razerzone.com on it. And yeah, you've got stickers and microfiber cleaning cloth and product specifications and user guides and everything else. And finally, going ahead and opening up this laptop for the first time, I will say that's one thing they've got on almost every other Windows laptop I've ever seen. I was able to open it up one-handed. That sounds like such a silly thing, but it's actually really nice, because there's been a lot of laptops I've used where it takes two hands and it actually takes a lot of pressure. With this, one finger, just like the Mac, that's beautiful. In terms of the keyboard, the keys look to be a very nice size. Feels pretty comfortable, just initial typing impressions there. Of course, you have the full function key set up here. Everything looks to be in place. The specs on this thing are actually very similar to the specs on my new MacBook Pro. This has a 7th generation Core i7 processor in it, 16 gigs of RAM instead of the 8 that's in my MacBook, 512 gigs of SSD storage. So actually, in every way, it's this much better than the MacBook that I've got. Processor will be faster, there's more RAM. The SSD might not be faster, I'm not sure, but let's just power it on and see. By the way, I completely forgot to mention speakers right here, trackpad down here. Trackpad, of course, not nearly as big as the one on the new MacBook Pro, but the keyboard is much, much larger, which is kind of a good thing. So let's just power it on, see what it does. Ooh, you got the rainbow effect there if you can see that. That's actually pretty nice. And you can't really see the screen, but it is booting up at this point. The other good thing about this, there were two options whenever I purchased this. You could either get the 2K display or the 4K display. So this is actually pretty close in resolution to the one that's on the MacBook Pro, but it's a touchscreen as well. The reason I did go for this one instead of the 4K was because if it has a higher resolution screen, it's gonna have to use more of its power to push the pixels. So I wanted to get this as even footing as possible. But let me go ahead and walk through the setup process here. By the way, touchscreen, this is very nice. Yeah, the typing experience on it is actually comparable to the one on the MacBook Pro. That's a good thing. And I'm sure the backlighting on the keys is something that's going to be changeable because that's distracting. Anyway, we'll be right back. And we are back. The final startup process has completed. As you can see, it logged me in. It's actually asking me to log into a Razer account, which I don't have. In terms of the pre-installed software that's included, there's not a whole lot. A lot of stuff that's just standard Windows stuff. There's a Dolby Plus profile editor there. You've got a killer networking app, Killer Diagnostics and Killer Network Manager. There's a thing that mentions paid Wi-Fi and cellular, but that looks to be a Windows program. I'm just not familiar with that. There's a Razer folder that mentions Razer Comms and Razer Synapse. Again, things I'm not familiar with because this is the first Razer computer I've touched. Thunderbolt software if you have Thunderbolt hardware, and that's that. In terms of the specs, again, if you're curious, it's the Razer Blade Stealth. Has the Core i7 7500 CPU, it's 2.7 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM, a touchscreen with 10 touch points on it, so I can put all 10 fingers on there at once. And I mean, just initial impressions of it, because I haven't spent any time really doing anything with the hardware. It is beautiful hardware, it's very nicely designed. It's very small, very thin, very light. Putting it up right next to the new MacBook Pro. They're actually very similar in terms of form factor. The Razer is a little bit wider, the Mac is actually a little bit longer, and in terms of their actual thickness, it looks like the new MacBook Pro might be slightly thinner, but part of that has to do with the rubber feet on the bottom of the Razer. If size is the thing that you're looking for, and you're on the Windows side, this is definitely one of the thinnest and smallest laptops I've ever seen, especially for a Windows laptop. And so moving forward, what I'm gonna do next with this is I'm going to install the common editing software that I would use on this machine. So probably Adobe Premiere Elements, Sony Movie Studio, and Adobe Premiere Pro. So what I figured I would do is edit the same video using whatever editor works best on this machine versus whatever editor works best on the Mac, which is gonna be Final Cut Pro. I know it's not exactly an apples to apples comparison, or an apples to razors, if you will, but we will definitely save that for another video. We'll talk more about it then. For the time being, if you're interested in the Razer Blade Stealth, again, initial impressions, the hardware is solid, the screen is very nice, and for the price, I mean, $13.99 to get an awful lot packed into this little machine. I'm looking forward to using it. The one thing it's missing, of course, is a dedicated graphics card, but Razer does make an accessory. It's like a $500 accessory that you can put PCI Express graphics cards in. So if I do end up keeping this device, I might invest in that later down the road and do some videos about that. That way I can have a more powerful desktop gaming setup that can also work as an ultra portable. Let me know what you think about this down in the comment section below. Links to where you can find it, of course, will be down there as well. Thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button down below if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel to receive all the videos that I make as soon as they become available. We'll see you again next time.